Welcome to This Explainer. I'm going to take my time today and clearly, slowly walk you through one of the most universally fascinating and honestly kind of bizarre histories of human existence. We're talking about personal hygiene, specifically what on earth we did before the invention of modern toilet paper.
Let's just dive right into the ultimate question here. How exactly did ancient pharaohs, medieval kings, and your everyday commoners survive without that little modern role we all take completely for granted? Well, as you'll see, the answers are incredibly resourceful, pretty strange, and yeah, definitely a little shocking.
You see, for thousands and thousands of years, literally every single human faced the exact same daily biological need that we do today. The catch? Without plush, soft paper waiting on a dispenser, sheer convenience usually had to take priority over comfort.
Moving on to Section 1, Nature's First Solutions for the Earliest Humans.
Okay, so what was the most common, most immediate choice? Well, it was large, soft leaves. Think about it. They could be found almost everywhere. Grabbing a handful of broad leaves was just an easy, highly accessible, and totally naturally disposable solution for prehistoric humans. But what about in colder climates? Up where those broad leaves were super scarce, humans adapted. They reached for naturally soft, highly absorbent moss instead. You can almost think of moss as the ancient hunter-gatherer's version of premium two-ply tissue.
And depending entirely on their specific surroundings, some early communities just had to adapt with whatever was nearby. We're talking grass, handfuls of animal fur, or even smooth river stones. I know, ouch. But hey, it was all about getting the job done, absolutely not about luxury.
Which brings us to Section 2, Ancient Ceramic and Stone Tools Used by Early Civilizations.
Now, what's really interesting here is the ancient Egyptians. Despite having this highly advanced culture and a huge, strict religious focus on cleanliness, they often used broken ceramic fragments. That's right, carefully smoothed down pieces of pottery.
In the Greeks, they actually developed a very similar practice. They used carefully selected and smoothed small stones or ceramic pieces called pessoi. They'd painstakingly smooth these down to, try and reduce the obvious discomfort. It was primitive, but for them, highly practical.
Let's look at Section 3 now, the Roman communal sponge and public hygiene.
So Roman cities were absolutely filled with these highly advanced, yet entirely public, toilet facilities. Citizens literally sat side by side on long stone benches. They'd sit there chatting, conducting business, and sharing a very unique hygiene tool. Right. So this brilliantly illustrates their method. It was called the tersorium. Basically, you'd use a sea sponge that was attached to a wooden stick. After using it, you'd rinse it off in running water or vinegar, and then, astonishingly, you'd just leave it right there for the next person to use. No way around it, that was the process.
Moving ahead to Section 4, Medieval Europe and the Age of Exploration.
In the Middle Ages, your daily hygiene really came down to geography and social status. It completely dictated your method. Rural populations, they used cheap, accessible stuff like hay, straw, and moss. Meanwhile, wealthier individuals had the luxury of using washable, reusable cloth. Later on, as global trade really expanded during the Age of Exploration, things got pretty rugged. Sailors spending months and months out at sea had incredibly limited supplies. So they often resorted to utilizing discarded, frayed scraps of old ship rope. Just let that rugged reality sink in for a second.
Next up is Section 5, the corn cob era in North America.
Over in North America, rural farming communities engineered a surprisingly durable alternative: dried corn cobs. I know, it sounds rough, but they were inexpensive, readily available locally, and they became a highly practical part of daily life for generations of hardworking farming families. And now, Section 6, China invents toilet paper, a truly revolutionary idea. So the crucial takeaway here is that while the West was using cobs and sea sponges, the East was quietly revolutionizing everything. As you can see on this timeline, early paper was used in China by the 6th century. By the 14th century, the Ming dynasty was actually manufacturing this imperial luxury paper just for the royal family. Then later, global printing made discarded newspapers and catalogs an everyday standard around the world.
Finally, we reach Section 7, the modern role emerges in the 19th century.
The global era of all these improvised, natural, and communal solutions finally started to come to a close in 1857.
That year, an American entrepreneur named Joseph Getty introduced the very first commercially marketed individual sheets of paper that were designed specifically for this exact purpose.
But why did it catch on so universally? Well, modern toilet paper ultimately dominated the globe because it hit all the perfect criteria. It was inexpensive, entirely disposable, easily mass-produced, and above all, it offered consistent comfort. A real game changer.
Ultimately, this explainer really highlights something special. Going from leaves and, broken ceramic fragments to mass-produced luxury paper, it's a true testament to human creativity, our amazing ability to adapt, and our constant, endless search for comfort. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought to ponder today. What other modern necessities, what other everyday comforts do you totally take for granted that are actually just recent historical anomalies? Think about it, because history really is always hiding in plain sight.